I want to thank also Senator Rosen and Senator Eaton for shepherding this bill through. We know that as we've heard from just about everybody here, irrespective to if you plan to vote for the bill, that they've been touched by this epidemic. I do bring attention. I had sent out a note to the body about this issue, specifically in the African American community. And so, though this issue of opioids, and often in certain communities it's just called heroin, sometimes heroin, depending upon what your pronunciation is. But this issue and this epidemic in the African American community in particular, and some communities of color, have been happening for a long time. Some of you may remember the great singer Billie Holiday, the great jazz singer. She died of a heroin overdose. Some of you might remember John Coltrane, the great bebop saxophonist, another victim to the issue. And we all remember, most of us were here when our hometown hero and friend to many of us, Prince, died of a fentanyl overdose. So the issue, and countless others, I just named them because people might know them, but countless others that have fell prey to the addictive qualities of opioids, or in particular heroin. And so I've talked to Senator Rosen about this, so I didn't offer an amendment today, but I would hope that in our advisory committee, we can add someone from the African American community that would be helping to make some decisions of the extra dollars that will go and target those in those particular communities. I know that the commissioner has some slots that potentially could be utilized, but I think I'd feel much more comfortable. Once again, I've had this conversation with Senator Rosen, and she's developing some language that hopefully, if this bill should go forward, which I think that it will come back from conference with some language that would speak to this. And once again, members, we know that this has touched all communities, and it has kind of hit epidemic proportions in our country over the last few years. But I would also remind members that this issue, this problem, this ideal of opioids and heroin and fentanyl and Oxycontin and all of these kind of things, those things hit communities of color, and particularly African American communities, for a long time. So with some assurances from the bill author, I know that we'll get this together, but I do want to raise it. I will say this: I didn't speak to what I sent around to you, but what it says is that fentanyl in particular, those deaths are up about 110% in the African American community. And what that really means, if you play it out, is that people were using heroin for maintenance and maybe not got the opportunity to kind of get off, or to kind of go to medical assisted therapy and other things that we know work. And they were using that to kind of for maintenance. And because of the change and this influx of fentanyl that has gotten into the population there, the deaths are rising at an astronomical rate. So there's going to need to be specific, clear cultural understanding of how we use this money in certain communities so that they don't get left behind. So with that, Mr. President, I am going to support the bill. And once again, I've talked to the bill authors about this issue, and I'm confident that if this bill should pass and it comes back from conference, that we'll have something in it specifically that will outline representation from the African American community in the bill.